So today we're going to be talking about, should you go in business with your spouse? Okay. You ready for it? Hey, Natasha.
What's up?
She's actually in business with her spouse, so you could be teaching us some stuff. But yeah, so once again, my name is Kiara Mason, and I'll let you go.
Yeah, I'm Jared. I'm the one that made her last name Mason, so you know we did this thing together. This is what we are.
Hi, Fancy. Hey, fam. So we are the
This is funny.
I know.
1, 2, 3,
Y'all,
4, 5, 6.
See, we have 6 devices up right now. We're doing great, Natasha.
7.
Thank you for asking this.
Yeah.
So basically, we are the millennial marriage coaches, also known as Meet the Masons. And we just wanted to come on live to talk about, are you ready to start a business with your spouse? Should you do it? The benefits, the pros and the cons, and the realities of what it's really like working with your spouse. So I guess you can give them a little backstory, like when we were dating and what we thought about purpose.
Well, it's going to be the shortest backstory in the world because we weren't dating for long. It was only about 3 weeks. She ain't like me all year long, but at the end of the year, boom. Yeah. So when we first got together, we actually had a lot in common as far as our college interests, both going after our degrees, our hobbies and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's like everything was connected to marketing. Everything was connected to business. And it's like, hold on, you're doing this already? Hold on, you're doing that already? And it kind of rolled into us knowing and identifying shared passions. So it wasn't like I'm trying to force her to do something that I like and she's trying to force me to do something that she likes. We were just literally walking in the same path, the same direction, and we crossed paths, and we was like, hey, it's better together than apart.
Yeah, so like he was saying, when we met each other, he was in the Mr. Daytona State College pageant, and he's Mr. Daytona State, if you guys didn't know that. And I had just gotten out of the Miss UCF pageant, so I'm like, first of all, it's just so crazy to see how our lives paralleled, and we already had similar interests, but also we realized we had similar purposes. Like we wanted to empower people, and this is when we, like the first day we met each other, we realized
we had different personalities though.
Yeah,
so we weren't completely
but we had similar interests for sure. And so when we transitioned that into marriage, like before we got married, we knew that, listen, our life is about purpose. We want to glorify God. You know, we have similar things that we like, but we didn't really know the fullness of what we wanted to do and how that would look for all of us. Like we didn't know, we didn't know if we wanted to actually go into business. That wasn't really the goal at the time. We just knew that God called us to work side by side in marriage, in business, anything that we're going to do, we're going to do it together, which isn't the case for everybody. Everyone isn't called to do everything with their spouse. Listen, this is another level, okay? This is another level completely. But then we got married, and once we did that, I don't even know, I can't even remember how this came about, but we were like, okay, let's do a YouTube channel. I think a lot of couples were asking us questions about marriage. Yeah. And so we're like, okay, well, let's just do a YouTube channel, and then people...
hold on. Speaking of questions about marriage, this guy right here, Mr. Damian Littlejohn, he was actually with me when I first met you, and I was like, man, I think I found my wife. He's like, hey dog, I think I don't know man, but if you got it, I'm gonna support you 100% whatever you do. So thank you for showing up. That's my brother right there. He's been with me since day one.
We appreciate it.
What's up?
Yeah, so basically after we got married, we decided to do a YouTube channel called Meet the Masons. And we're going to talk about, we didn't even have a tagline like money, marriage, motivation. We just like, we just want to do vlogs of our life and answer any questions that people may have about, being young and married. And then that ended up evolving. So it was fun doing that together, us having a hobby. I am a social worker by trade. Jared was working in sales. And so we had our own careers doing our own thing, but when we came after work, we would come together and do vlogs on the weekend. So it was like, okay, we do something fun together, but we still have our own thing going on. So that evolved. We ended up getting picked up by a TV show, Up TV. And once we got from there, we got other brand partnerships with other companies. And then we realized, whoa, this was a hobby, and now we're making money from this.
Yeah, hold up.
Now,
did you say you're going to pay me to do what I'm doing already
that I'm
with
already
my spouse?
doing.
Oh, yeah. Let's run this. Let's run this real quick.
So then we're like, oh shoot, okay, now our business has started coming on, because I never really envisioned being a business owner. I think maybe you did.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, because you did stuff like that when you were little. Yeah. I did not. So we started making money from it, and then we're like, we were ready to have our first baby, and we always said that whenever I had the baby, that I would stay home.
Yeah.
So we tried that out. We tried it out because I thought I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom, and then did that and realized I did not want to be a stay-at-home mom solely. When I did envision having kids, I always saw myself like having kids and then doing something on the side.
Right.
And so I ended up going back into work because I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm not interested in being home all day and trying to teach my child. I'm just not interested. I need to do something. I'm a doer. Like, I need to have my hands doing something.
And saying all that to say doesn't mean that dealing with your children and teaching them is not doing something.
Exactly.
But what you didn't want to do was only have one part of you fulfilled.
Right.
Is the way I would say it. Because it seems like, it's like, hold on, what are you talking about?
I know.
But yeah, there's so many passions. So yes, you want to participate in the growth and education and nurturing of our family. Absolutely. But at the same time, it's like, hold on, I can also handle the same thing from a business perspective, hire somebody to come in and do that, whatever the case may be. And that way we can multitask. I was going to say kill two birds with one stone, but I'm not trying to kill any birds today.
So yes, that's good. That's true. Because I'm multi-passionate about a lot of things, I just didn't see myself only giving of myself in that avenue with just being home with my child. So went back into work, and then we're like, we kind of like having our own time and doing things in our own time. So we're like, okay, let's transition you from going full-time to part-time so that you can get back into going to, starting a business. So I birthed one business called The Mommy Shower.
I thought you were about to say the baby.
No.
I'm like, come on. Yeah.
So did The Mommy Shower that was in 2018. And then we stopped that, put that down for a while. Then I got pregnant again. And this was after I left my part-time job because Jared was like, leave. And I was like, for real? Yeah,
on Friday, tell them it is what it is. I
did give it 2 weeks.
Yeah, you did, but I was ready. I'm like, hey, come on out of there.
So that was crazy. And then I think like 2 weeks later, found out I was pregnant. I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Could have used that money if I knew I was pregnant. But nonetheless, so after that, that's when like during this time, God is cultivating us and saying that, okay, you can be in full-time business. We were teetering in it a little bit, like, okay, I do have a business, but I'm a YouTuber. Like, we didn't really have an identity as business owners together. It was just like, oh, we just winging it. We can make money here and there. But then
we need to make money everywhere.
Exactly.
What it turned into.
So God ended up just really transforming us, transforming our mind, and then we took the leap into full-time entrepreneurship this year. So for about 4 years, we've gained a lot of experience with working with one another and, dealing with the challenges of working with your spouse. Like, we work at a high level.
And so, high level is not easy because you're used to like this. Yes, I'm on the team. All right, cool. High level is not always easy because sometimes when you have your separate professions, it's like, hey, I come home, how was your day, babe? You tell how your day was. It's all right, cool. That's in that pocket. But it's like, look, when your day is with me, and my day is with you, how your day went affects my day. So I need your day to be great. So my day, because if you ain't do your stuff, I can't keep, So it's funny.
Yes. Yeah. So basically, we've learned a lot of stuff along the way. And now we just wanted to share with you because I know some people really thinking about, even during this day and time, during the COVID and all these different things, people are launching into business and, job situations are changing and you're probably thinking about, okay, should I do this? Should I launch into this? And, should you go into it with your spouse? And we are an advocate for it, if you're called to it and you believe that you can do it. But we're going to ask you some questions to see if you're really ready for it because, like we said earlier, it really does take a high level of communication, of intimacy. You got to be strong in your marriage if you want to be strong in business too.
And really, nobody else cares about your money as much as you do. So if you and your spouse are in thick and thin when it comes to all your financial situations, why wouldn't you want that person to have your back in business? Because when they have your back, they have their own back. And obviously, our belief in marriage is the two become one. So you're literally doing this for yourself because you and your spouse are one. But it's like, look, they have your back. They know your goal. They know where you're at and what your motivation is. So who better to walk through that path? Would you rather do that with that person, your spouse, or a stranger that doesn't know your interests, doesn't know what's going on at home, that doesn't know what your priorities are, doesn't know what your deadlines are? And we don't like to say deadlines, but your lifelines are. They don't know. So when you actually have that relationship with your spouse, like, you can knock it out together.
It's just so much power when you do it with your spouse. We got a couple questions, and then we'll go into the questions that we have for you guys. Natasha was first. How do you guys deal with the highs and lows in each other's moods?
Hey, that's really good.
That's a good question because we're with each other all day long.
Yeah.
And we have little kids. If you guys didn't know, we have a toddler and a 7-month-old. So we get, I don't want to say distractions, but our mind is in different places throughout the day. But do you want to take that?
Sure.
With each other's moods?
I would say the biggest thing is giving each other space. Because one thing we're big on is communication. Like, literally, we talk for a living. The more we talk, the more we get paid. So we like to talk. But with this, there's sometimes where it's good to be quiet. Sometimes it's good to, like, hey, like, Kiara was working on a project yesterday, and during that project, after our nanny was out of the house, I had a kid. So I'm like, okay, well, let me let her balance that. So sometimes the mood is a little bit different when it's like, man, I got this work to do. But it's easy to be like, why are you tripping when the thing that they have to do doesn't involve you?
Right.
But when you're in business together, hey, let them be passionate about their mood, or like, I got to get this done, or I really want to rush and, make sure I'm on time, or whatever case may be. Like, that extra fire that you get, it's easy to stay motivated behind that, because it's like, hold on, oh, you're actually passionate about doing something for us. So yeah, go ahead. Like, oh, you're upset because our goal wasn't accomplished, or you're distracted because you know that this is our top priority. You want to get back to that. So the mood is a little bit different. Sometimes I could be like high energy. You could be high energy, depending on what it is. Mostly it's me. I'll be that. Kiara, she likes to sit down and have her list of 5 or 6 things and check them off. And I'm like, look, I'm about to blow this whole thing up. Let me just, boom, hit the list. Yeah. So I do it list of priority. Which one is the most beneficial? Which one is the most important? And then I roll down. And she just does it. She doesn't care what comes next as long as it's on her list.
Right.
So
she said she's motivated one day and Tony is the next. So as far as like motivation, honestly, that's what we specialize in, money marriage motivation. Hey. So our motivation is up because we know our God-given purpose. We love what we do. And I know we didn't say what we do earlier, but our company name is MTM Creative Imagery Co. We help entrepreneurs and small business owners put their best image forward through photography, branding, and social media management. Right. Hi, Pastor Chad. Thank you for coming in. So we help business owners, basically. So many business owners are passionate about what they specialize in. So say we have a hairstylist. You're passionate about doing hair. You didn't sign up to do social media.
Right.
And now you know that you need a social media presence, but that could be overwhelming. So we like to take that load off of leaders and business owners and entrepreneurs so that they can, go for it. And they look good on business so that they can draw the right people.
And I'm going to tag on that and then answer a question real quick. So with that, the biggest thing about it is a lot of times when you're passionate about your business, everybody doesn't sign up for the fact of any business that you're in, you have to have a media company. Because if you don't have any media, or if you're not marketing, rather, you can't make sales. If you don't make sales, it's a hobby. You're not in business.
Yeah.
So when she mentioned one day she's up, next day her husband is up, if you could track what keeps you up on those days, what you want to do is give that information to your spouse so they can feed that to you on the off days. Because if I know that Kiara likes to have a list and stay organized, while I'm doing the stuff that I'm like, boom, let me knock this out, knock that out, I check in with her on her list. And then if there's something, I got an extra 15-minute pocket, 30-minute pocket, I help her check that thing off because now she's motivated to jump to the next one. But when she has 3 things on the list and only 2 of them get done, she hates rolling that number 3 to the next day. So my job is to come in and say, hey, I know this is going to be something that you want to work on. So let me go take the kids, or let me help you knock this out while the nanny's here, and we can do this together. So that keeps us motivated, because once you check this off your box and you hit it, then it's like, oh, wow. So you in here with me? It's so, I like fighting.
Yes.
So, no, I'm just one quick thing. If you ever look at the tag team situation, if you're in a fight and you know all you got to do is tag somebody and they're going to come in and pick up where you left off, and they got the energy and you tired, you're going to keep pushing. So this is what you do with your business.
Yeah.
So keep each other
Hopefully lifted. That answered your question.
She said it. Nailed it.
Perfect. Okay, Damien said, I would really like to link up with you so I can start a business. Yes, Damien, email us.
You got my phone number, bro.
Yeah, you have his phone
number. You have no excuse not to call me. Anytime.
If anyone else is interested in that as well, just email us. Go to info@mtmcreativeimaging.com.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to start off with, should you start a business with your spouse? So we're going to ask you 6 questions, and you got to tell us, you know, are you in that place where you, hey, Meryl, come on, tag team, that's right. Are you in a place where you can answer confidently yes or no to these things? Right. And it'll tell you if you're ready to go into business with your spouse. So number 1, do you communicate well?
Right.
Listen, like I said earlier, first of all, being married and then having a business together, you have to communicate constantly, all day long. You're communicating about your marriage. If you have kids, you're communicating about your kids. And if you have a business, you definitely communicate about your business, because that's where your money is. So you have to be in a place where you know how to communicate well, and you know how to get to solutions quickly.
Yeah, and communicating well is not always about enunciation. It's not always about, because sometimes I can get flustered and I'll stutter, I'll do this, I'll do that, whatever case may be. But when you're communicating, does the person you're talking to understand what you're saying from your perspective? And the first couple times in communication, you can't really coach people or guard people or figure out how they hear what you're saying. But what you can do is you can allow them an opportunity to repeat back to you the way that they understand what you mean. So if I say, hey, babe, can you pass me a cup of water? Does that mean a glass cup? Does that mean a bottle? Does that mean, like, what does that really mean? And I know that's a simple analogy, but when you're communicating in business, when you have your number 1 or number 2, whatever your objective may be, can you say, hey, this is what the goal is, and this is how I want it accomplished, and then them understand what that means and spit it back to you? Because one thing that we're really big on is you write the vision, you make it plain so the people that read it can run. Mm-hmm. So when you're writing vision or you're communicating vision between each other, if you walk out the room, can they handle it? If they walk out the room, can you handle it? And if you can say yes to that, then you're communicating well.
Yes. So if you guys communicating well, then that's a good sign that you can move on to the next thing. Let's see. Do you delegate roles well?
Hold up.
Okay. Because when you are married, first of all, we don't subscribe to traditional roles within our marriage. You know, we are really a partnership.
Marla's here. Hey, Marla.
Hey, Marla. Hey. We don't subscribe to traditional roles. So, you know, dishes, equal opportunity. Cooking, equal opportunity. You know, watching the kids, equal opportunity.
Right.
We're a partnership, and that's what works for our marriage.
Right.
But when you're in business, you also have to delegate roles. Mm-hmm. So this is a free tip. If you are walking in business with your spouse, make the woman 51% ownership. Why? Because now they're a women-owned business, and then there are perks and grants you can get because it's a women-owned partnership. Now, just because I'm 51%, it doesn't mean that, you know, I'm the big boss and X,
yes,
Y, and
it
Z.
Does. Yes, it does.
But we're going to talk about that later.
That's fine with me because it's the same account.
Exactly. And that's the thing.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is that, you know, within your business, you will have to delegate roles. Who is the salesperson? Who is the customer service person? Who is, you know, you have to say who is who, because you can't do all of the same things at the same time.
And it doesn't mean that it's only you two in that business. Obviously, you can hire help, you can hire assistants or whatever the case may be. So that's needed when it comes. But even in those processes, you don't want to hire the salesperson to be the front desk. Because as soon as they walk in, hey, do you want to buy a product today? It's like, hold on, I just wanted to know where the bathroom was. No, we got to buy something before you use the bathroom. It's like, calm down. Know your role. Yeah,
we need you to make money.
Yeah, we need you to make money. Get them on the phone. So at the end of the day, it's like, what are your roles? What are your specialties? Because when you hire somebody, you want them to be passionate about what they do. And people say all the time, oh, if you find a job that you love, you never work a day in your life. You're going to work every day of your life if you find a job that you love. But with that, it's totally different because you're passionate about your role.
Mm-hmm.
So when you delegate these roles, if I go to Kiara and I say, hey, you know what, Kiara, I want you to do this presentation. Well, if she's not comfortable with presentations, that might not be the best situation.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that she shouldn't, because sometimes we're going to learn it all, especially when you're in business together. You want to understand each role, so that way you know how to effectively hire. Because if you don't know what it takes, how can you tell them, hey, this is what it takes?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
Delegation.
Now, eventually you're going to get to a place where you can say, hey, somebody do this. But with everything that we've done, like YouTube, every other business,
brand partnerships,
all of that, we both did it at the same time. So like we would both film, we would both edit, and then we realized, Kiara's a little bit more better at graphics. Jared's a little bit more better at communicating with scripting and doing copy. And so over time we did it both, and then we realized, you're really good at that, so we're gonna let you focus on that. So
and it saves you time, because like some stuff like literally would take Kiara 55 minutes.
And I'm well at it, but it just takes too long.
Yeah, it takes too long. And it takes me 20 minutes. So I'm like, give me those, because it's going to take me 20 minutes. We just gain 40 minutes in our day-to-day process. You do that 2, 3, 4, 5 times a day, you can save 3 or 4 hours. Now you can be more productive, get more clients, and do more business.
Exactly. So now, once you realize, okay, we do a pretty good job at delegating roles, here's the next question. How well do you walk in humility?
You take that one. Come on. Tell them.
OMG. You have to be able to, first and foremost, we all about the kingdom over here. Yeah. So you have to be able to be surrendered to God first and foremost, because he's going to tell you what to do in business, how to communicate with your spouse, what's the next step you should take. So it's like you have to be able to be surrendered first and foremost, but also when you're working with your spouse, you have to sometimes humble yourself and be like, what I thought was right wasn't right. Yeah. And they were right at something else. Or, I thought we should have did our advertising a certain way and it didn't work out. And I have to be like, oh dang, I wasn't right. Yeah. And then knowing that you can't be right all the time, essentially, in business. Acknowledge it and keep moving forward. You know, give credit where credit is due with your spouse, and then move forward. You don't have to be right in everything. Business, a lot of it, especially when you're starting, you're figuring things out as you go. So don't think you just know everything. No, you should always be in a place of learning. So I guess that's where the humility is. Are you in a place where you're teachable, where you're still learning in the process? And the thing is, like, there is an element of figuring things out and learning curves and stuff like that. But if Kiara's right about something and I'm wrong, I don't care, because if she got it right, that means we getting paid. Yeah. If I'm right and she was wrong, it's okay, because once we switch to that, it's all right because we getting paid. And then once we get paid, we can pay our assistants, we can pay our help, and we can impact people. Because all of our businesses are tied to money, marriage, motivation, and making love when it comes to the ambassador situation for YouTube. And then with our businesses, this is also the same parallel, because if you're in business and you're trying to make more money in your sales or your products, your services, if you're not intimate with that process, as far as marketing perspective goes, you're spending an hour in marketing when you can be doing an hour presentation that can get you $1,000. Why don't you pay me $100 for that hour and you make $1,000 in your hour? Because if I can get 10 people to come to your pipeline or 10 people to come to your situation and you make $1,000 a pop, you don't mind spending $100 with me to make $1,000. So let's exchange. And that same thing with the delegation and humility is like, I'm humble enough to say, hey, I need help in this area. Right. I'm not the best at this. Right. And Kiara and I, we have a little inside joke. When she's right about something, I say 51%. 51%, you right. And when I'm right about something, I say I'm always right unless I'm wrong. I'm always right unless I'm wrong. And when I'm wrong, she's right. Yeah. Yeah. But it's fun. So yes, can you walk in humility, be teachable, all that great stuff. So if the answer is yes to that, then let's go on to the next question. Right. How well do you create goals together? That's good. Can you even do that within your own marriage? Like whether that's, buying a house or just tasks that need to get done for the day. Can you clean up this room? Right. Can you come together and execute something together? If you can do that, like if you can be faithful in the little things. Come on, preach that thing. Preach that thing. You'll be ruler over much. So if you are doing well with doing little things within your marriage together, then you can be trusted to do bigger things in business where, you know, now you have other people's lives and their money involved in what you do.
Right.
So you got to know how to do this stuff together.
Yeah. And I think
I was about to say,
hey, no, because it goes back to something we mentioned a little bit earlier. When you win, I win. Right. And I win, you win. Mm-hmm. So when you set goals, it's not that Kiara is out here and she's like, oh, you know, I closed this many deals this week. Well, I'm glad. You know, she closed 3 deals, I closed 1. Mm-hmm. But we have 4. You know what I'm saying? So when you set goals and you say, hey, our goal is to get to 4, she got there faster than I did. She had 3, I had 1. But our goal was still met. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the day, it's like, if your goals are unified and your goals are together, I don't care that you win. You don't care that I win because we win.
Exactly.
So be on each other's team is the ultimate goal.
Exactly.
Goal.
And when
see how I did that?
Good job, baby.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when it comes to, I don't know if we said this before, probably in one of our YouTube videos from yesterday, we talked about money, like, is money running your marriage? It's a really good video. Y'all have to check it out.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, what we were saying was basically we don't believe in like 50%. I know there are some marriages that are like, oh, well, you pay 50% of the bills, I'll pay 50, or you pay 70, I'll pay 30. No, y'all, we got access to all the same accounts.
Yeah.
We all got the same bills.
Right.
His debt is my debt is his debt. We're all one. So when it comes to business, and like you were saying with goals, it doesn't matter who did what, who brought in what, X, Y, and Z. We have one unified goal. Yeah. So that is important. Meryl said, things we need to constantly review throughout ownership. You both are always evolving. You should always go through this checklist. Yes, you are always evolving in business, in marriage, as a person.
Right.
You are always evolving. If you are not, this ain't the place for you. Marriage isn't the place for you. If you're already married, it is the place. But if you're thinking about it, it's not the place if you don't want to evolve and change. And if you want to go in business, you have to be willing to change.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Seasons change. Sales cycles change.
Yes.
Structures change
all the time, and they get better and better. So you have to know that when you go into business, it may not look the same way as it started. It will change. I don't know how we got here, but let's go on to the next question. Do you hold each other accountable?
Yeah.
Can you receive correction? Which I guess it goes back to creating the goals together. But can you receive correction without exploding? And if we can be honest, there are times.
Repeat that again.
Can you receive correction?
Good.
Without exploding? Because if I can be honest, you know, we've been doing this for 4 years now. There are times where it's like, Jared may say something, I'm like, no, I'm right, I don't care. And that's the pride, you know, the pride in you. And then it gets in the way of, now we got an attitude.
Pride gets in the way of progress.
That's
Come
good.
on,
somebody write that down. But literally, like, being in a place where you are so proud and you don't have humility, and when someone tries to correct you, now you got an attitude. You don't want to do nothing around the house. You don't want to help with the kids.
Hey.
You don't want to talk to your spouse. You don't want to do anything in business because of that pride. That pride will get in the way. So you have to be in a place where you can receive correction from your spouse, but at the same time, when your spouse is giving correction, do it with love. You speak the truth in love. I don't believe in this, well, you got to say it is what it is. No. The word says speak the truth in love. So you need to find a way to communicate with your spouse in a way that they can receive it. You don't have to be harsh because they're wrong.
Yeah.
They already, chances are they know they're wrong. Say it in a loving way. You know what I'm saying?
And then also take it back a step. Like if this is your first time being an entrepreneur or you've been in it for a while, if you had a job before then, when somebody did something wrong at work, your supervisor, your teammate, somebody that works under you, wherever the case may be, you didn't just snap on them, hopefully. And if your supervisor or somebody said, hey, you did something wrong, you don't just say, well, I could do what I want to do. No, you're submitted. You calm that thing down. You tone it down a little bit. You receive the correction and you rock and roll. You go back and get on the phone or get on the computer and do your role. So here, it's the same ball game. And if anything, it should be even better played out than that because your supervisor doesn't come home with you. They don't. Your spouse does. So why not give them the most love? Why not give them the most attention and respect? If you can give that to a stranger that just hired you, oh, yes, sir, no, ma'am, and you can't do none of that stuff at home, this might not be the line for you.
Seriously.
Let's go to the next one.
That's so good. And this is the last one. Okay, this is a business question. Do you know what problem you're going to be solving?
Yeah.
Okay. That is the purpose of business. You are a problem solver. Yeah. What problem are you solving? What answer are you going to be to the world? And you have to know this and be able to, you and your spouse need to be able to communicate, this is what we are, essentially, so that you can be effective in business. Then you'll know how to market, you'll know how to do X, Y, and Z. But there are times where Jared and I are entrepreneurial minded. Right. Me, I'm very sick. He has a lot of ideas too, and I think I'm like the classic serial entrepreneur, because I'll get an idea and it's like, oh, let's do this one, let's do this. He's kind of like that as well. But what I was gonna say is sometimes it's like, oh, you got all these ideas, but Kiara, what problem is that gonna solve? Do we really need to do that right now? Yeah. Like, is that what the people need right now? Yeah. So you have to be able to answer that question. Yeah.
And then once you have a situation where you know you're solving a problem, the only thing after that is to package that, of course. But once you market that and get it in front of the people that have that problem, they will pay you. So that leads back to what we said a little bit earlier. No matter what business you're going to go into with your spouse, you have to be willing to market that business. And as you market that business, then sales can come in. As sales come in, you take care of your overhead, your team, and all these things from there. But if you're not willing to solve a problem, you're not really in a business. You're not really in a business. You're pretty much having a hobby. You're playing a game because nobody's going to pay you for that.
Right. Like, that's so true.
Yeah.
And this is a bonus one because we have, those are over with. But Jared and I are unique in the fact that we have a brand and we have a business. So we in ourselves are a brand. We started Meet the Masons as, YouTubers. And we got brand partnerships, just being who we are. So some of you guys, you have to realize, okay, do you want to be a brand, or do you want to have a business, or do you want to do both? Because they're two completely different things, and they bring in different streams of revenue. So I would just say, because we are a brand and we have a business, we really had to clarify who is our brand, what answer does our brand solve, and then what does our business solve. Right. And because we had so many ideas, we really had to take a time to really separate the two and find our identity in both. Right. And communicate that.
And to kind of add to that, what our brand solves is we look at marriages and we deal with marriage from a kingdom perspective. We deal with money, marriage, motivation, and making love. So that's what our brand is about. It's a family brand. What we do in our free time, how we build each other up. But then on the business side, it's how do we get leaders, no matter where they are around the world, more time to focus on what they do best. Kiara likes to say we help entrepreneurs put their best image forward. What I like to say is I like to give you time back so you can do what makes you the most money. Because if it takes you 10 minutes to post on Instagram, 20 minutes to post on Facebook, and that's just the posting process, not even making the content, typing the content, making a good picture, know what you're going to talk about, all this type of stuff. And then you want to, get your captions up and all that type of stuff and do this 7 days a week. That's going to take you at least an hour. At least.
You're talking about a day?
A day. That's if you're hitting all the platforms and making custom thumbnails and all this type of stuff. So if you make $50 an hour, by the end of the year, you're going to make about $104,000 a year. But if you're wasting that time, I'm talking about based on a 40-hour week, but if you're wasting that time, you can invest that $50 for 1 hour a day. And then with that 1 hour a day, if that brings you another $500 or $1,000 in a customer, it's worth the exchange. Yeah. And a lot of people exchange time for money, but they don't always see how they're not doing an effective exchange in their business. Yeah. So what we do is we clarify that. Yeah. And same thing with the marriage situation. If you have your money right in your marriage, or let's start with marriage. If your marriage is strong and based on the proper foundation, then you're going to be motivated because you have a good source, a good connection with your spouse. Yeah. And then that motivation leads you to make more money. The more money you have pours back into your marriage for you to do things that you want to do and enjoy yourselves, which keeps you motivated to go back and do it again. It's a repetitive cycle. With the business side, if you have the time to do what you do best, it's marketed to the people that need it the most and the ones that have the problem that you solve, they're going to pay you. That brings it back to having more money back in your hands, and then you can build your team and go from there. I get a little excited because I like helping businesses.
Mel says it takes so much time for social media management. It does. And that's why we do that for businesses. Like, we want you to be able to be free to work on your genius. Because what'll happen is you're putting so much time into social media management, which you need an online presence. Like, hands down, you need it. And then it takes you away from, you know, really focusing on your content and your expertise. So that's what we do. But essentially, you guys, so if you're just joining us, we talked about, should you start a business with your spouse?
Hit the questions.
Yeah, and we just went over, do you communicate well? Do you delegate roles well? Do you walk in humility? How well do you create goals together? Do you hold each other accountable? Can you receive correction? And do you know what problem you'll be solving in business? So that's what we cover. If you guys have any questions, let us know.
Yes.
But we want to say that if you said yes to those things and you're like, okay, we said yes, we're in a good place in our marriage. Excuse me, guys. We're in a good place in our marriage and we want to go forth. This is a time for us. Then we want to tell you guys about our Purpose Partners course, you guys. So we finally, so many people have asked us, when are we going to start mentoring? When are we going to do X, Y, and Z? So this is the time. We're starting a Purpose Partners course where basically we will be going live with you for 4 weeks straight. It'll only be 10 couples. We're going to be coaching together. And it's not live on Facebook or Instagram. No. Yeah. It's in a private setting. And basically, we're going to be giving you weekly assignments around the areas of money, marriage, motivation, and making love so that you can walk in greater purpose within your marriage. Now, this is important because we just believe that God has really called for marriages to rise up during this time to be a righteous example. And we just believe that God ordained marriages to be the foundation of how the world should be better.
Yeah. And not only how the world should be better, but if you go back to creation, it's like, look, God started with a couple. He said it's not good for this man to be alone. Let's go ahead and hook him up. And then everything else went out from there. The only thing that happened is once they got off of his plan, off of his process, and off of his priorities, then we started seeing all these perpetual problems. Look at all those P's right there. That was pretty high. So as I continue on with this, it's like, look, we're going through this process, but if we go back to the way that it was established in the beginning, God gave us the resources. He told us what to do, how to manage what we have. He gave us streams of income. He gave us all the clothes or all the supplies or whatever the case may be, and then put us together to tend to our business, to mind our business in our marriage, to bring our kids up, to do this, to do that. And if we go back to that, we can have the same benefits. If we veer off from that and just keep going the opposite direction, yeah, you're going to have problems. Yeah, you're going to have obstacles. And yeah, that's a part of the world we live in now. But we can offset those with honoring God's principles, honoring God's process, and honoring God's priorities. So that's what it's about for us.
Absolutely. So, yeah, that's why we did this course. So if you're interested in that, we are taking applications. So basically you sign up. If you're on my Instagram, which is Kiara J. Mason, go to the link in my bio. It's also in his bio as well, which is Meet Mr. Mason.
Right.
Or if you're on Instagram, go to the Millennial Marriage Coaches, and you'll see the link where it says the Purpose Partners Marriage Course sign up.
Yeah.
And you can sign up there. You'll get more information about what we'll be talking about and diving into. And then we'll probably try to leave a link after we're done. We're on like so many platforms right now for Facebook if you want to sign up. But yeah, we're really, really excited. The class starts on Monday.
Right.
So that means you need to sign up as soon as possible so we can review those and get that out to you. Yep.
Awesome.
Do you want to add anything else?
No. Actually, I always like to add stuff. But my thing is, if you
have, I'm sorry.
What?
Will the live parts be daytime or evening for the course? We're most likely going to do evening so that the married couples can be together. We don't want it to be during the day. It's going to be something where we have live interaction with you so that you can answer your questions. So it'll be in the evening.
And then also we're going to have it set up to the people that do come in, because it's only 10 couples, to where you can kind of pick what time works best for you. So we're going to have a group collaborative effort and say, hey, if it's better at 7, or if it's better at 6, or it's better at 9, we're going to basically allow you all to pick what works best for you. Great question.
And if you, when you join the course, you're going to get the 101 date night ideas and why you should keep dating your spouse for free within that marriage. And we're within that marriage, within the course. And we're going to be challenging you to go on date nights, because date nights will change the epitome of your marriage. If you do it consistently, you will develop this level of intimacy because you need to step away from everyday life, from, you know, daily routines and children and business and everything. Especially if you walk in business together, you need a time away that says, no, I'm not talking about business. I'm not talking about the kids, even though they may come up, but I'm focusing on my spouse.
Yeah. And then also with the date night situation, that also allows you to, if you do want to start a business, have time to talk about it. Have the time to talk about your dreams. Have time to talk about your goals and not be interrupted in that. Because so many times, as you mentioned earlier, there's so many different distractions. So we can have you in a fun environment where you have like-minded couples that want to see you successful, and you and your spouse are already in agreement to say, hey, we want to do something new together, something better together. Because people are getting hit from all different sides. Some people are making more money than they ever made. Some people have lost their job and making less money than they've ever made. But no matter what, if you go back to the Garden of Eden principle, if I'm following God's promises, following his priorities, and following his principles, there's no way I can't have multiple streams. There's no way. If I tend to the garden the way that he wanted me to do, I'm going to get paid. I'm going to serve others, and that's going to cause me to profit. And that as that calls me to profit, I can give to the charities I want to give to. I can help the community I want to give to. Because it's one thing to be stuck in like, hey, I don't know what I'm going to do next. But it's one thing to willingly not participate in a path that you know is proven to succeed. So it's like, look, there's a path, there's a way, and anybody and everybody that wants to go, let's knock it out.
So if you have any questions for us, we're just going to stay for a couple more minutes or a couple seconds.
We can do a quick scroll on each of these. Hey, Janet.
So this is good, family. Francis said, when you win, we win. That's right. Hey, Reggie. Thank you guys for joining us today.
And then we have Wes, Alex here, Sarah, Mauricio, D.
If you guys have questions about being in business with your spouse, if you guys are thinking about it, let me know. You guys, if you already have a business, go ahead and drop your business down below. Network, let's follow one another. We're all about supporting each other. It's real out here in these entrepreneur streets. So, you know, let's support one another. The least you can do is go like someone's page. You know?
Well, definitely put your business link in there. And if you're working on a business, put on what you're working on. Because somebody could be like, oh, man, that's the missing piece of something that I have. And let's collaborate. So please, please, please do tag your businesses below. I see it looks like Lavish Looks BE's over there. Tag your business. They need to know where to go. So,
Teresa said, thank you, guys. This was very motivating and informative. Awesome live stream. Thank you, Teresa. We got to link up soon. Who said hello? Somebody said hello.
Hey.
Hey. Oh,
what's up, Josh?
Okay,
my oldest brother.
We probably got to head off now. We love you. We love you guys. You can always follow us on YouTube. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Meet the Masons. If you want more information about the Purpose Partners course, go to www.meetthemasonstoday.com, and then you'll get more. You'll see the little image, and then you can get more information there to sign up. Sign up, guys.
Alex says, my wife and I are talking about it. Thanks for taking the time to talk about this. You're welcome.
That's awesome.
This is a mighty man of God right there. He knows it. For real, for real. Me and him link up.
So connect with Jared. If you guys are just getting in late, make sure you watch the replay. We will leave it up for you guys. And we love you, and we will see you later.
See y'all soon. We're about to shut these down.
We got like a whole bunch.
6 screens, 7 screens up. Love y'all.